Hey everyone, it's Mike with It's Pittsfield Tonight. I'm going to jump right into it. And this video is going to be about a couple different things. First, we're going to start with the city council candidate interviews that I'm doing. I had some rescheduling I had to do, but yesterday I was able to get a couple more done. Today I have 4 more. So starting later on this afternoon or this evening, I will start posting those again. And the upcoming ones this week will be Ward 6 candidate Ed Carmel, City Council President and at-large Councilor Peter Marchetti, our Ward 5 City Councilor Patrick Cavey, another one with at-large candidate Karen Kalinowski. So those I'll start putting out today. And then coming up, our Ward 3 candidate, Kevin Sherman. Kevin has told me multiple times, Mike, reach out to me anytime. He's ready. Kevin's running uncontested in Ward 3. I mean, I like Kevin a lot. I'm glad to see him coming back to the council. But anyway, he's waiting on me. That's on me with him. Kevin has offered to come on anytime. And then our at-large candidate, Craig Benoit. And there's a few more. And if you haven't seen the other ones I did, they're all listed on the page or on YouTube. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel. A lot of people have started shifting over there. I've noticed that. But that's It's Pittsfield Tonight on YouTube, or you can just go to the website, itspittsfieldtonight.com, and from the main menu, click on the Know Your Candidates tab, and they're all listed there. So there's a few different ways to watch these, but definitely pay attention to that. And as soon as I wrap up this week, I've got to get on the school committee. So I feel like the school committee is so important, and there's quite a few people running this year, and that's just a really important election. The bulk of our city budget, I think the biggest part of it is into our schools. So you really need to pay attention to that. And we're less than 3 weeks away from Election Day now, so it's quickly coming. That being said, yesterday, Adam Hinds, our senator, Adam Hinds, announced that he was going to be running for lieutenant governor on a ticket with Ben Downing, but he's running for lieutenant governor, and he made this announcement from the steps of Pittsfield City Hall yesterday. And I saw that post. I saw it in the local newspaper, and I saw Spectrum was covering it and a few other outlets. So I decided, well, I'll go through my photos and see what I have, if I have any photos of Adam, and if I can just throw a post or something up. And as I was going through my photos, I realized the only photos I had of Adam, and the only time I met him, was during the whole nightmare when the shelter, our emergency COVID shelter, which was run by ServiceNet, and it was located at the former St. Joseph's High School, they abruptly closed it last year in the middle of the pandemic, before there was any vaccine or anything available. They closed it in the middle of the pandemic. And as a result to that, Springside Park filled up with people who had nowhere to go. As most of you know, I covered that. It was a big deal. The community really stepped up and donated food and goods, and it got the attention it needed at that time. The idea was not to turn Springside Park into an encampment, but to get ServiceNet to immediately reopen that shelter. That did not happen. They let this continue and continue and continue. Finally, it took a long time they reopened that shelter, but it took a long time. The way the city handled it, I was disgusted with. I think a lot of people were. They were allowing drug use in there. They were allowing drinking in there. They put porta potties in there. They were allowing smoking in there. They brought in ashtrays. There were encampments everywhere. And if these people have nowhere to go and the city has nowhere to put them to extend help to them, they have to be somewhere. It was just a nightmare. So again, I brought all that attention to it, and because there was some elections going on, it brought some candidates out. So, and I tried to give some of them the benefit of the doubt. Well, this is how I initially met Adam Hinds, and it's the only time I've ever met him. We talked for a couple minutes, and of course everyone had masks on. So when he realized who I was, he said, "Oh, you're that guy," and he walked away. He was very nice to me, but that did happen. So anyways, as I'm going through these photos, I found a photo of him and Joe Kennedy under the pavilion, and it was kind of controversial what Joe Kennedy did, and I tried to give them the benefit of the doubt. And Joe Kennedy was running against Senator Ed Markey at the time, and he lost that election. But he was endorsed by some of our local politicians, including Adam Hinds. So he brought a camera crew with him, a videographer and photographers, and this whole deal. And they set up under the pavilion, and they filmed him carrying in a bag of donuts or sandwiches or something, and Adam Hinds had like a jug of apple cider, and they went down there and they brought some of the homeless, those living in homelessness. I say homeless because I was homeless. If you're homeless, you're homeless. There's no politically correct way to say that. If you're homeless, you're homeless. But they brought them up to the pavilion, and a lot of these individuals I had gotten to know very well, because when ServiceNet abruptly closed that shelter, they took all their belongings and threw it out in a dumpster. Myself, along with another individual who's a huge advocate for the homeless in our city, we climbed through that dumpster in 90-something degree heat where I was throwing up. It was bad. But we found some of their stuff that they needed, like cell phones, and a backpack which had an iPad, VA information, housing applications, the wallet that had one of the gentleman's ID and everything that he needed. I mean, all his stuff was in there. So some of it we were able to retrieve, some of their clothes and stuff like that was all brand new. There was no saving it. It had been sitting in a dumpster in the heat for days, and it was just bad. It was a very sad situation. So, anyways, I got to know these individuals during that period that were living there, and some of them were very thankful for us being able to retrieve their belongings. So Joe Kennedy and Adam Hinds are sitting there taking pictures with them, and yesterday, looking at those photos, when I was looking for the picture of Adam, I saw that there's the three people that were living at the park. Joe Kennedy sitting there, Adam Hinds, and some other people around him. And out of those three people that they were telling, we're going to get you help, what's going on, we care about you, within like 60 days or so, two of them were deceased. And it really got to me yesterday. It got to me so bad, I just didn't post anything. I thought, man, why does it have to be like this? Because that situation is still continuing. Some of the same people are still living in that park. And nobody ever went back. None of the politicians went back. Nobody did anything. And here we are going into another winter, where last winter our head of our parks and open spaces said, hey, by December 1st, 2020, that's it. They can't be here anymore. And we're going to get them help. We're going to offer, all these things. And that never happened. They're still, here we are a year later, still in the park, getting ready to go into another winter. And I guess we're just getting ready for more death. I don't know how anybody can let that happen. I don't know how the mayor can let that happen. I don't know how that's going on still. I went up there just the other day. It's bad. It's bad. There's an animal in there, a dog in there that, I said, oh my God. That was heartbreaking. The whole situation is just bad and still continuing. So I didn't post the picture of Adam. I didn't want to use all that. And this isn't a dig at Adam at all. But he is in a position of some kind of power to do something. Ask the mayor. Ask at least what's going on. Make some phone calls. Are we really going to let this continue? I know Joe Kennedy lost to Senator Ed Markey, and that was it. We never heard from him again. That was sad because, one of the individuals that passed, I remember he said to me, he gave me a big hug when I found his wallet. And he had papers in there for a court date he had coming up that he had to have this stuff. And he said, they're going to put me in jail if I don't, it was awful. And when I said, we're going to get you help, I promised him, we're going to get you help. And he said, Mike, you think they care about me? I'm a homeless black man. They just needed a couple black people to take their picture with. And I said, no, that's not true. They're going to help you. They're going to help you. Well, and he was one that was deceased within 60 days. And I don't know what the situation completely was, but I know he had some substance issues, some other things going on, and he didn't get the help. As far as I know, that was it. So it really, really bothered me. We have to get on top of this. And again, I'm not trying to stir the pot, but please, I hope Adam Hinds sees this or somebody sends this to him and he reaches out to me, or if you don't want to talk to me, that's fine. Call the mayor. I think he has a good relationship with her. He endorsed her last time, so I think he knows her very well. Ask her, how do we finally take care of this? How do we get these people into some kind of housing for the winter, or get somewhere and get our park back? 2 years now of people going, human waste in that park in a pandemic. Drug use, things they allowed in there. They brought in ashtrays for them. It's illegal, I thought, to smoke in a public park. It's illegal to have open containers. I sat right there when, I won't say a name, but when a city official said, hey, if you guys are going to drink up here at the pavilion, keep it under the table and put them in a bag. Anybody else would, I believe it's an arrestable offense to have an open container in a public park. I don't think you can do that. But we just keep kicking that can down the road, and now we're getting ready to go into a winter soon, and it has to be addressed for once and for all. For once and for all, this has to be taken care of. So that being said, I'm going to follow up on that and see if there's something we can do. It has to stop. Has to. Another thing I have to mention, and then I'll wrap it up, is, it being a campaign season, and during election years, candidates put their signs out. And I can't tell you how many candidates have contacted me about signs disappearing, being stolen, and signs are expensive. People donate to pay for those. Candidates pay for a lot of it on their own, and those are anywhere between $4.50 to $7 a piece. They're very expensive. And so I did what I've done in the past. I have a lot of trail cams, as people know. I use them for my wildlife stuff. And this time I was very proactive because, there's cool little tracking chips you can do too. They're mainly used for wildlife, the ones I have. You can put them on collars and things like that if you have beagles or birds and things like that that you're following to see how things are working out. Well, I put some of them on the signs, but I also put the trail cams out. And this time, unlike the last election, I actually got some footage that I needed. So all I'm going to say is, if the people who are doing it see this or hear about this, stop. Because soon, everybody's going to know. Everybody's going to know. And the 4 signs that I found yesterday with a candidate that I was able to track, because one of them, I had a little tracker inside, and was able to go right to them and find them. And all I'm going to say is stop, or everyone's going to know, and it ain't going to be good. And the people, the ones who did it and are seeing this, you know why it's not going to be good. I will do it. Stop. That shouldn't be happening to any candidate, anyone. I think we're a little more mature than that in this community. I'd like to hope so. So that has to come to an end. So anyway, that's it for now. I'll have another video out probably tomorrow, but again, starting later on this afternoon or this evening, I'll start putting some more candidate videos out and getting those out there. And please stay in tune with all that's going on with that. And I will be reaching out to the school committee members and the challengers for this year's election for that, starting probably this weekend. Just scheduling has been tough. So, all right, that is it for now, and I will see y'all in the next day or two.